Hi friends, welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge. My name is Jake, and today we're taking a look at the FH81 by Ganzo. It's a D2 steel blade, which all the FH knives are. The FB knives that you can still get, that are still being produced, have 440C stainless steel, so that's a quick way to know what kind of steel you're going to get. And this is now got the branding of FB knife. Well, the FB knife branding has been around ever since they started doing the FH series. Instead of Firebird, although they've got the Firebird on that side still, it's a flipper or a thumb pad flipper release. It's a flipper or a thumb pad release, right and left-handed, totally ambidextrous except for the pocket clip. There's a few things that Ganzo's really starting to just continue doing that is starting to get me ticked off. Just very mildly, nothing major at all. If you're going to make a flipper knife, make the pocket clip ambidextrous as well, so that everybody can enjoy it. If you're making most of it ambidextrous, make all of it ambidextrous. That's what I'm trying to say. We've got some unique colors on the G10. We've got black, brown, green, and gray. So that's pretty good. It's a cleaver kind of style with a forward choil. And this one's got a thumb pad, or it's not a thumb disc, a thumb pad made out of G10. So if you're interested in this knife, the full review is coming to you right now. The first thing I like to do is a size comparison between the Ontario Rat 1. So if you line it up, the handles are actually very close to the same size, but the blade, of course, is shorter than the Ontario Rat. I like this knife. When I first saw it, I thought it was pretty cool, and I had the knife shipped to my friend Dave in Nebraska, who then mailed it up to me, and he really likes it. He's since then bought his own, I believe, and it's a good blade shape and a good handle shape overall. There's a lot of positives about this knife, and then there's several nitpicky negative things. We've got G10 on the handle scales, like I said, D2 steel. Rockwell hardness is usually around 59 on D2, 58, 59, something like that, give or take a little bit. We've got a satin finish on the knife, and it's a finish that is quite nice. We've got a rounded over spine, and then it swoops down for that nice tip. That tip is actually functional for delicate work. You can hold the knife like this comfortably with the tip of your finger and do some delicate work, well, with either hand. And I think this knife would work quite well as food prep as well, as long as you held it perhaps in this way so that your knuckles aren't hitting everything. And then you could easily do, that kind of chopping motion, for a camp food prep knife. There's a number of other uses you could do for it too, and that would be totally up to you. We've got a nice size forward choil that my finger's got extra room on, so I've not nicked my finger at all. I like the size of this. Instead of being too small, it's a very good size. The blade here on the handle part is chamfered very nicely, so that's good. The flipper tab's got some nice jimping on it. And the flipper tab, I think, is a little bigger than it needs to be. They could make it a little bit smaller, and it would still be fully functional, and it flips out very, very well. The action is awesome on this knife. It's one of the best budget flippers for action that I've had in quite a while. Steel ball bearings in there, steel detent, and thumb riser here. It's on a bit of a radius, and that jimping works very well. I would rather that this transition be smooth, so that if you just imagine the jimping to continue, if it would do that right up there. Now, somebody could do that on their own very, very easily. That's just G10. You could easily just, take it off and sand that edge, or leave it on there and just sand that edge, that corner off just a little bit. And, for some people that would be more comfortable. And for some people, it would be the way it is. So if you get one of these, use it for a while first before you decide to start sanding on it. They've got some texture on the top of that thumb pad, I should say, and that's good for adding a little extra grip. And just screws down. I've got a still picture of it taken off Yeah, that's pretty ugly. I wouldn't take it off if I was, I just wouldn't. I wouldn't take it off. If you don't like it on there, buy a different knife. That's what I'm suggesting anyways. Now this does stick out a little bit, and I practiced with it, and yes, you can use that as a wave feature, like the Emerson wave design, so that it catches on the corner of the pocket and the blade opens up as you pull the knife out of your pocket. I was able to get that to work fairly well. Now for the handle. The handle's G10, like I said. You've got this sort of like the G10 that was expanding and it started cracking, kind of milling lines in there. The pocket clip is a little bit bigger than I thought it should be. I thought when I was just looking at it, that's going to be hot in the hand. But no, it was not hot in my hand at all when I was using it. Another one of those minor cons is it's got sort of like a not a forward choil, but a front choil for your finger here on the handle. It either should be bigger or smaller, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of guys that have large hands, large men's hands. And if you've got large men's hands, your index finger, your middle finger, is going to rest in that transition area. The spine of the handle is rounded back, fits in the palm of the hand very well. You've got a small backspacer that's got some jimping put into the G10. Nice and small, very functional. It's not really in the way. Easy to clean this knife out if you need to. The lanyard hole is a reasonable size. 550 paracord gets through there, no problem at all. The knife is comfortable in hand. Even a reverse grip is not bad. A reverse is comfortable. It's quite comfortable in most grips. Even a pinch grip, like I showed you, to do delicate work. It's a good, comfortable knife. Nothing super special with the comfort, but it does have a cool look to it. If this is the kind of look that you like, yeah, it definitely has a look to it that a lot of people would find attractive. Now, I did say that it's very smooth action. I try to, if I just turn it straight up and down, it just falls down. Just wants to fall. Very, very smooth action. So it's really easy to deploy the blade either using your thumb or the flipper. The detent is good. You can hear it go in there. Let's go over all of the specs and information like that. While I'm going over all that information, this will be sitting on the corner of the screen. 135 grams, 4 3/4 ounces. So it's a little heavier than it needs to be. If they would have skeletonized it a bit more, it would be, a very good weight. The balance point is good. It's right there. I would like the balance point to be up forward just a little bit, and doing a little more skeletonizing would have created that, but it's not terrible. The sharpness of the factory edge there, I measured 175 bests on my equipment. That's pretty good. The length of the cutting edge, 7.48 centimeters, 2.95 inches of cutting. The blade length, so tip to the closest spot on the handle in a straight line, 8.74 centimeters, 3.44 inches. The blade thickness is 3.43 millimeters, which is 0.135 inches, so a little over 1/8 of an inch thick. The blade depth, and I usually measure it about 1 inch up from the heel of the blade or the sharpness choil, 3.05 centimeters, 1.2 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind, 0.45 millimeters, 17.5 thousandths of an inch. For D2, that's very, very nice. We've got a high saber grind here. That's a flat grind that comes up quite high. The grind angle on the blade here is 17.3 degrees on this side and 23.0 degrees on that side. The handle now, the handle length is 11.48 centimeters, 4.52 inches. The grip area, about 9.5 centimeters, about 3 3/4 inches. If you add that choil in there, it's about 12.5 centimeters, about 5 inches. The handle thickness, 1.37 centimeters, 0.54 of an inch, not counting the pocket clip, of course. The handle depth, right there, 2.67 centimeters, 1.05 inches. The handle depth when the knife is closed, I'm not counting the flipper tab, just right there, actually right there, using the this tab though, the pad, 3.76 centimeters, 1.48 inches. The total length of the knife, is 20.1 centimeters, and I did it again. I forgot to put the inches in, so let's measure it. Put that on the tip there. Just shy of 8 inches. Not quite. So there you go. Basically an 8-inch knife, roughly 3.5 inches, roughly 4.5 inches. So not bad at all. How much does this knife cost? Well, I bought mine through Power Cutlery, and there it costs $24.99. In Canadian dollars, that's a little under 35 Canadian dollars. Unique features, pros and cons, let's cover that. I like that we've got different colors than Ganzo uses predominantly. They're doing more and more of that, so I like that. A little bit unique with this thumb pad thing. I like that. I like that it's G10 instead of steel. Made quite well. Very smooth action. I love that. Very, very smooth action. I like that if you practice a little bit, you can use that as a wave feature. The lockup is exactly where you want on a brand new knife. The liner lock release, I wish it was a little bit bigger, but it's not hard at all to get the knife to unlock to go to close it. That works very well. Blade centering is pretty close to perfect. Handle, comfortable in hand, good forward choil. I like that. Like I said, the flipper tab could be a little bit smaller, and the ramp and the pad here could have a little smoother transition, but there's good traction here. I like that jimping. Good job, Ganzo. The lanyard hole, good. I like that. The texture on the handle, good. I like that. The tip of the blade is functional for delicate work, so I like that. And what do I not like so much about this thing? They're mostly small things. Flipper tab a little smaller would be nice. The oh, by the way, no blade play side to side, up and down. Lockup is very good in every way that you can measure it. I already talked about if it had just a little more skeletonizing, it would be lighter and the balance point would be a little more precise, but that's a very small thing as well. The screws in here, check out this picture. Those screws, the one is almost stripped out all the way. I have not put a screwdriver in there yet, except for very delicately to check. And yeah, that screw is getting ready to be totally stripped out. So, maybe, Ganzo, put a couple extra screws in with the knives. It's not going to cost you a lot. If you're going to strip screws and your screws have a history of not being all that good, include some screws in the packaging, please. Or get better quality screws. Those are the two options. Pocket clip should be left mounted. There's no excuse for not making it able to go on the left side. So you've got two little holes there that are screw holes. Big deal. It's still going to look very, very good. Remember, you're making a budget knife. This isn't like a $200 knife. So make it left compatible completely. Let's show it in a pocket. So here we go. It goes in a pocket quite well. It always goes straight to the bottom because it's got enough space between there so it doesn't catch. So you don't see much in the pocket. And if I can show it here, I don't know if I'm able to show it while I'm pulling it out. If I'm pulling the knife out, that corner there does want to catch a little bit, but then if you continue pulling this way, it catches on there, and yes, it can definitely open like an Emerson wave feature. I got to show you another thing that really, really ticks me off. This is the major thing that bugs me about Ganzo. See how it says has a Torx screw there and has a Torx screw there? That's Torx. That's Torx, but one of them cannot turn. So it's easy to put your screwdriver in there and start to strip the thing out, because how do you know which one turns? Because I've had them put in these non-spinning pivot pins either side. Here's an older example. See that? I chewed that up to no end. This side is the Torx screw. That's what you turn to take it apart. And I tried it on there, and it immediately just yucked right up. And ever since then, this is a long time ago. This is over 3 years ago. And they're still doing it. Ganzo, stop it. All the other companies are putting a flat screw head on the side that you should not turn. The side that you should not put a screwdriver in, they make it so that you cannot put a screwdriver in. Ganzo, please, please, I beg you, be like the other companies and just put a flat screw head on the side that cannot turn. And that's pretty much the knife. Here's a picture of the knife taken apart. If you're looking for a cleaver type knife, this is one of the best ones at this price point that I've seen. You're just not going to find really good cleaver knives for $25 US that easily. So what do you think of this knife? Leave your comments down below. I really like good discussion down below. Why don't you like it, or why do you like it? What would you change, and what do you think they did really, really well? And maybe if you're going to be getting one, put that down in the comments. This knife is not yet on Amazon. I didn't find it in other stores. Power Cutlery is one of the only places I found it easily. I think you can get it on the Chinese stores like AliExpress, DHgate, GearBest, places like that. You can probably find it. And I will leave links for GearBest if they have it here. If you still shop there, I've got referral links down there. I don't shop at GearBest all that much anymore, and I don't receive items from them anymore either. That was my choice, not their choice. One of the main reasons is they don't ship knives to Canada. So, why would I continue putting in all that effort for GearBest if they don't ship to Canada? But if you're in the United States or some other country, I do have links down below, and it would help Canadian Cutting Edge if you would use my links. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And remember, friends, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.